This is my legacy ornamental mill. I've had it since 2001. I have not used it that often, and the reason that I haven't is because it's always been a stationary tool, and I never really wanted to have a dedicated spot for it, so I always dragged it in and out. So this is it's a fine tool. I mean, it allows you to use your router to turn cylinders or tapered legs or just any number of things. You know, just you can see by the picture here that the different things you can do with it. You have the ability to adjust this bed up and down. You have the ability to turn this, your work here, and advance the router at the same time by engaging this set of gears. It's just an incredible tool that I want to get it incorporated into some of my projects here in the future. But my problem was it was always buried back there in the back wall. And so it's not about the tool itself here, it's about making it mobile, and that's what this is. That's what I want to show you, how I did it. And it's a very simple project, but it's something that, you know, maybe inspires everybody to get after some tool that they got buried, maybe, that if they can get it mobile, they can get it out there and use it. So all I did was build these simple L brackets here with these casters on it, and you know, just found a way to fasten it to it. And now I have the ability to pull this thing out, use it, and put it away whenever I'm done with it. So let me put it away here for you, and then we'll show you how I made these brackets. I gotta take the router off here because that doesn't sit up in there. There you go. Now I've got my floor space back if I'm working on something, and if I need to, I can just go get it, pull it out, and basically put it anywhere I want in my shop, and get to work with it. So I'm looking forward to using that tool down the road. So you'll see it in some of my upcoming videos. But let me show you how I built those brackets to hold the casters and make that thing a part of my tool rotation again. Got a bunch of, or not a bunch, I got a piece of scrap here. What I need, those legs are about 19 inches outside edge to outside edge apart. And this one measures 42 and a half, so this will work out good. I'm going to make this 20. I'm going to make two pieces 20 inches wide. Now that's a hair longer. I want to think about that for a second if I'm walking around it, if I'm going to catch that stuff. I might make them exactly 19, but anyway, what I'm going to do here, you can see here, this used to have some screws in it. I'm going to true this up. This edge is not too bad. So I'm going to rip this down to 2 3/4. And now it's about 2 7/8. 2 3/4. I'm going to check my final length here, and then basically make my L shape like so with this piece of scrap 1/2 inch that I have, and then fasten it to my mill over there through this way. So I'll end up having a piece that looks like this, with this being the bottom. And I think that one of these I'm going to put a rabbit in it, probably the 1/2 inch. Give me a little more glue surface, or maybe I'll just dowel it, we'll see. But anyway, let me get this ripped down and cross cut, and then I'll check my final dimension here. Gotta get some eyes and ears on here. Now, even though these are two different type of wheels, you know, material wise, they're the same height and the same bolt pattern. So one is a locking and one is not. So I'm gonna, when I drill my holes here, I'm going to make sure, or when I mount the caster, I want to make sure I have the locking casters on the same side of the tool. So I'm going to just do something like that. I'm eyeballing it. I'm going to mark these with a pencil here, take them to the drill press, drill my set of holes. And like I say, they should be mirror images of each other. So that's about right there. Oh, go back to make sure we're lined up. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so we'll drill these here, and the same thing on the other end, both pieces. I'm going to use one piece as a backer, and I'm going to drill the 2 holes and see how I match up with my caster there. That'll work. All right, so let's drill all of them, or let's drill this set, and then we'll reset for the other 2. So I'm going to do 2 and 2, put this board on the bottom, do 2 and 2, and then reset. Incidentally, you can see that I've got my drill bit just half an inch off the surface here. I've adjusted my stop nut to allow that to happen, so I don't have to bring the quill down so far. So this is what the normal travel would be here, up like that, and then you'd have to bring it down, and drill a hole. But go ahead and use your stop. You're doing a lot of holes like this. There, now it doesn't go all the way back up, and I'm good to go. So let me reset here. See, find my pattern. There it is. So I'm going to leave the fence alone. I'm just going to change my stop and back it off here to about right there. So the drill bit is holding the work. Hold the stop to it. Tighten it down. There we go. Alright, I'll just check this for sure. Get that out of the way. I lost my magnet there somewhere. There we go. That will also work. Beautiful. Okay. All right. I'm going to cut a shallow rabbet in these half-inch plywood pieces that are going to be going to form my L. But what I want is, I want to have a registration so that I'm not just putting it together like this. I want a little lip there to help steady things when I glue it together. So all I did was I set my height of the blade to the width of this piece. And then the distance from the fence is about half a blade's worth right there. And then I'm going to bump the fence over a little bit and take another pass. But I want to check the fit with this initial first cut here. Ends up being nice and clean. I know what you're thinking, you know, my hand is getting way close to that blade. Well, here's the deal. My hand is right here. The only thing I'm doing with my thumb, I'm not pushing down with it, I'm pushing this way. And I'm just holding it tight to the fence. So I'm just going like this. And I got a firm grip back here. And I'm just pushing it through. You know, if you're not confident in doing that, then don't do it. You know, that's all there is to it. I'm confident what I'm doing there, and that's why I did it. So now I can glue these together. Hey, after I pull the shrapnel out of my hand, and I get a piece that's still in there. I'll grab tweezers. So that's how that's going to go together. That little rabbit will help me keep things squared up when I glue it together. But before I do that, I want to locate a couple holes here, so that when I fasten it to my my tool, I can do that now. It'll be a lot easier to drill them now. So let me go drill those, and then I'll come back. Got to go remove this piece of wood in my thumb, or the meat of my hand here. Hang on. Okay, when I can get away with it, I don't like to measure, and so I just took this little scrap piece of mahogany that I found, lined it up. This was the center of the one opening. Made a mark on the center of the other opening. Brought it over to my my reel piece here, laid it down, and then centered it up. And it ends up being about 2 1/8 inches in from each edge. So I made my marks, and then just to double check, I went over and laid these marks down next to my tool there, and I am indeed going to be right on the center line. So I'm going to drill a pair of holes on this one. I don't know that I need a pair, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's one of those things where, oh, lost my pencil there, where the load is going to be carried through this piece here, you know, down to the floor. This is doing nothing more than keeping it from moving. I suppose if it got kicked or something, but you know, I tend to overbuild things. So I'm gonna drill 4 holes in each of them, and then we will put them together. We should be good to go then. Now we're going to see how well this works out. I came over here and didn't move the fence from the last time when I drilled these holes. And it worked out pretty well for this one right here. It's about 1 inch away. You know, it's fine. I was just eyeballing it. So I come down and I'm on that line, on my layout line there. But then I'm thinking I'll just flip it over and do it from this direction. But that spacing will not work. I need to move my fence this way and stay on my line. So I took my clamps off. This is the beauty of this setup. I took my clamps off the bottom. I had another set, I should say, left it clamped. Clamped it from the top here. I can get away with it because my pieces are short enough. And then just clamped a makeshift T on here, actually on both ends. And then I'll slide my fence up and we'll see how well it stays on my line here. So there's a little something to see if it works. But I'm going to drill these 4 holes and then move my fence up. I could, you know, I was thinking too, I could just put a spacer in here and bring it up. But when I do that, I lose my stop here. So anyway, let's just see what happens. This is my piece with the layout line. I'm not really liking the way that laid out. Let me double check this here. Hang on a second now that I have holes. Okay, we're fine. I just put a couple bolts in the holes and tried it on my extrusion down there, and it's perfect. So I will continue drilling here. All right, I want to show you this. So I'm going to release these 2 clamps here that are holding my fence. Get them out of the way. Slide this up. That appears to be about the same center line. Let me lock this down. there's really no way for me to double check that. Yeah, that's close enough that I'm gonna call it good anyway. All right, so I'm pretty sure I can glue these together. What I'm going to do though is check out the orientation here, and I want to countersink the outside edge so that bolt sits flush, so that when it goes in here, she sits flush like that. Might be a little long, but that's all right. I'll buy some shorter ones. So let me countersink the outside. These don't need to be countersunk because it's going to just be a standard bolt. So let me get these done here. Just checking the depth by standing the bolt upside down, and then you can feel that the head is going into that countersunk countersunk hole, and that's all you need to do. I mean, I'm just roughing these out. This one's a little shallow yet. So once you get done with them, as long as that settles in there, you know you're good. All right, let's glue them together. And even though it's such a shallow rabbet, you can see how that's probably a 1/16, something like that. But it just works wonders for squaring things up. I'm just going to pull it tight this direction in the middle because this piece has got a little bow in it this way, so I'm using it like a spring almost. Pulling it tight here, that pulls it tight everywhere else along the back. Then I'm just going to put 2 clamps and put pressure down this way and let it sit. That's all there is to it. Let that glue penetrate that a little bit. That's probably, I'm probably going to have way too much glue here. I can tell way too much glue here. We'll take some of the glue off of this one. Put it on the next. All right. Flush up the edge here. Like I said, way too much glue. Now we're square. That is perfect. I'm going to get a rag and clean up some of this glue on the back here because I don't care if I smear this. This is no big deal. And then we'll get going on this one here. Okay, here's what happens when you don't plan ahead and you're winging it like I am on this deal. My holes for my casters they're fine, right? And I've got them where I want them. They're on the outside, but here's the center line of the extrusion over there. And you can see how far away this hole is. Well, you can't see these on the inside, but let me do it this way once. Let's see. I put that on the center line. So I'm just guessing, 1.25 inches this way, but over here, 3/4 of an inch. So when that extrusion comes down on here, it's going to hit these two bolt heads. If I were to bolt them in like I originally planned on, this would cause some interference problems right here. So I can't do that. So I've got to countersink these and bolt them from the bottom. Have the nuts down here. Yeah. And use flathead screws, countersunk. Now lucky for me, I've got a single flute countersink that fits into an extension and I can reach in here and get this one still. Otherwise, it would have been a pain. So I'll countersink these. So that they once the bolt goes in here, it's just below the surface. Let me grab one and check the head in those holes. Hang on a second. All right, that's going to be fine. So just a little bit of a work around there. These heads will be slightly below the surface, so that when the extrusion comes down and I lock to it through here, there'll be no interference. Yeah, there you can see that bolt. Okay. All right, let me countersink the rest of them here, and we should be able to put it together pretty soon. So there's one. It'll be nice. I'll be able to lock this caster. So there's going to be a left and a right. This one will be. Let's see. This one will be on the left. So the right has to be the exact opposite of this one. Yeah. So the locking caster will go on the other side. Anyway, that's going to be nice. I'm excited to get this thing up on wheels. All right, just took a couple of legs here, same length. Kept pushing them back until I took the weight off of these blocks. And now I can slip this on. I gotta be careful though, because I don't want this thing moving on me. Looks like I'm gonna have to take this one off. All right, success finally. Here's what's going on. I had that extrusion is designed for this style of T-nut, kind of a stamped steel, 1/4-20, and I was trying to use this style, which once I got it in there, there's just not enough play in there to get the bolt lined up. So what I had to do was grind a little off each edge so that I had a little wiggle room that way, and then I was able to get that fixed up. So I've got a couple of these, but you know, I prefer using the thicker steel ones here. So I was able to get this one put together. I'll get the other side on using the ground edge T-nut here, and then we'll get her out and see how she rolls. Okay. All right, I got the one side done, right? And you see where these brackets are? They're on the outside. Well, who put this thing together? Because the brackets down there are on the inside. So I have, no, I don't, I only have one choice. I'm going to take these off, put them on the other side, and call it good. So let me do that little project first. Okay, a little creative blocking. I was able to get that one on. Not much trouble. Now I just have them on there loose. I've got the weight sitting on the wheels. I'm just going to tighten them up. So now we know that the load is going down to the casters. And it's not being held up by this piece here. All right. It's quite a bit higher than what I'm used to, but that's all right. That'll work. Beautiful. That is going to be so much nicer to be able to use that